within any state or designated part of a state shall be thenceforward, and forever free. Yet when General Granger and 1,800 troops of the 13th Army Corps arrived in Galveston, Texas on June 19, 1865, they realized blacks were still being held as slaves. Let's dive into that history. Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered in Virginia, and Texas, which had seceded from the Union on February 1st, 1861, formally fell. This was the reason for General Granger's visit, to assume authority over the people of Texas and enforce Lincoln's original proclamation, which was issued January 1st, 1863. While the Emancipation Proclamation had seen close to 200,000 blacks enlist in the Union Army to fight the South, 250,000 slaves remained in Texas following the war and were shocked by Granger's General Order. General Order Number 3 was handwritten and read by General Granger as he stood on the balcony of Ashton Villa, former headquarters of the Confederate Army. This officially ended slavery in the state of Texas. The order reads as follows: Headquarters, District of Texas, Galveston, Texas, June 19, 1865. General Orders Number 3. The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness, either there or elsewhere. By order of Major General Granger, F.W. Emory, Major Assistant Adjutant General. The proclamation from the Executive of the United States refers to Abraham Lincoln, who was dead, yet his order lived on. Texas was home to the last remaining legally enslaved blacks in the U.S. While a messenger had been sent to Texas to issue the order by announcing the emancipation of blacks, slave owners ignored the report and withheld the information from their slaves so that business could continue as usual with a free labor force. Since Texas remained a Confederate state until General Lee's surrender in April 1865, emancipation was not enforced. General Granger was given command of the District of Texas and dispatched to Galveston with Union troops for this reason. After General Granger read the order publicly from the balcony of Ashton Villa, he sent his men marching through Galveston to read the general order in various locations. These included their headquarters at the Osterman Building, the local courthouse, and the Negro Church on Broadway, now known as Reedy Chapel AME Church. All Texans were officially informed that, per Lincoln's original proclamation, all slaves were now free. The annual celebration of Juneteenth arose from this event. Officially called Emancipation Day, June 19th is also called Freedom Day and Juneteenth Independence Day in some circles. It would seem that the arrival of General Granger and his Union troops, coupled with their grand announcement, instantly led to 250,000 slaves experiencing freedom. But this couldn't be farther from the truth. Some chroniclers of Juneteenth's history would have us believe otherwise. One source, National Today, a site that keeps track of holidays and special moments on the cultural calendar, writes, Granger's arrival with the grand news stirred the air with jubilance and massive celebrations across the state. A former slave named Felix Haywood gave his recount of the first celebration in 1865. We was all walking on golden clouds. Everybody went wild. We was free. Just like that, we was free. Felix Haywood, an elderly blind ex-slave from San Antonio, Texas, may have spoken this account, but what happened immediately following the proclamation of the order in Galveston was quite different for many. The news spread quickly on the relatively small island city of Galveston, but the day of freedom did not come as expected. In the book Lone Star Pass, Memory and History in Texas, Elizabeth Hayes Turner, a professor of history at the University of North Texas, writes, The former Confederate mayor rounded up black runaways and held them for return to their owners. The Union Army's provost marshal went along with this action, but did so for the purpose of holding them as laborers for the military. Freedmen who entered the town after that found themselves pressed into military service. Although the announcement had come, for many, freedom still seemed elusive. Freedom did come to Galveston when Union troops occupied the island, but even with 1,800 troops, Granger's general order took some time to reach the ears of plantation owners and their 250,000 slaves across the vast stretches of Texas. Some government agents did not arrive at distant plantations for months, and after they did arrive, plantation owners decided when and how to relate the news to their slaves. Many waited till after the season to do so. Turning to Elizabeth Hayes Turner once more, concerning Texas slaves, she writes in Lone Star Pass, when they did get the news and attempted to act on it by leaving, their immediate joy succumbed to despair as white vigilantes punished former slaves for preferring freedom to labor exploitation. Uncertainty mixed with high expectations for the future. The size of the state, the long distances between farms, the thin lines of Union protection, the remoteness from urban areas and from the heart of the defeated Confederacy conspired to bring emancipation more slowly into the interior of Texas. Historians estimate that 38,000 former soldiers from the Confederacy's Trans-Mississippi Department headed home following the war, but they ransacked and pillaged towns as they went. Soldiers from the Texas division of this Confederate department did no less. Arriving at the state's capital, Austin, battle-hardened ex-Confederate soldiers robbed the state treasury. Anarchy unfolded elsewhere in the state as well. General Granger's 1,800 troops were not enough to maintain order in all of Texas or provide adequate protection to so many scattered former slaves. Freedmen sent reinforcements, Texas being the last state in the Union they assisted in this way, but its officers reached the state in September 1865, nearly 3 months after June 19th. Freedom celebrations were seen here and there among slaves following the public reading of General Order No. 3, but the idealized notion of widespread jubilation experienced by slaves immediately thereafter is a fallacy. Collected in slave narratives, a folk history of slavery in the United States from interviews with former slaves, a former Rusk County slave from the era named Susan Merritt reported, "Lots of niggas was killed after freedom. They owners have 'em bushwhacked, shot down. You could see lots of niggas hanging to trees in Sabine Bottom right after freedom, 'cause they catch 'em swimming across Sabine River and shoot 'em. They sure gonna be lots of souls cry against them in judgment." None of this was cause for celebration, which is probably why you see black people staring stone-faced at the camera in early photos depicting observances of Juneteenth. Irrespective of that, resilient ex-slaves persevered in the face of seemingly insurmountable adversity and turned June 19th into an annual day of remembrance and eventually true celebration. The first official Juneteenth was observed 1 year after Union troops arrived in Galveston. June 19th, 1866 was a day that saw blacks holding prayer meetings and singing spirituals, many wearing brand new clothes as a mark of newfound freedom. In time, black people in other states followed suit, embracing Juneteenth as Texan ex-slaves migrated throughout the U.S., taking the celebration wherever they went. Unlike other proposed dates that have failed to hold in the minds and hearts of blacks, including Lincoln's January 1st, 1863 Emancipation Proclamation, June 19th endures. On the one hand, the January 1st date is overshadowed by New Year's Day, and on another, many were still slaves in states where Union forces had not arrived to liberate them. Though individual states did not officially embrace the celebration or acknowledge the day for over a century, that began to change when the state where Juneteenth was born, Texas, declared it an official paid state holiday in 1980. During the regular session of the 66th legislature, Texas House Bill 1016 passed, making June 19th Emancipation Day for blacks in Texas. Since then, Texans have celebrated Juneteenth with picnics, dancing, and parades. The federal government, almost all individual states, and even private corporations have embraced the date as well, which stands as the oldest known official celebration commemorating the end of chattel slavery in the United States. On Thursday, June 17, 2021, President Joe Biden signed a congressional bill making Juneteenth a federal holiday. The event marked the 156th anniversary of the first Juneteenth. The United States has not had a new federal holiday since Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 1983. The subject.
Pirates, yes, they robbed I, sold I to merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty One. We forward, said we forward. This generation triumphant. This generation's triumphant. Won't you help me to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Get your freedom, get your freedom. Get your freedom, get your freedom. Won't you help me to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Get your freedom, get your freedom. Get your freedom. Redemption. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Educate our spiritual poverty. None but ourselves can free our minds. Get rich, die trying. Don't you worry about atomic energy. World War III, they don't stop eternity. How long shall they kill? How long shall they kill our? How long shall they kill our prophets? While we stand aside and look, they say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the word. Won't you help me to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Get your freedom, get your freedom. Get your freedom, get your freedom. Won't you help me to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Get your freedom, get your freedom. Get your freedom. Redemption.
Welcome to galaxyfwe.net Grand Rising Show. How we doing this morning? How we doing? All those on the way to work, move good. All those who are just rising up, rise beautifully. Let's make today a productive day. To give some words of inspiration. We've got no time to waste now. We've got no time to waste now. Let me give you some words of inspiration by a Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Hey, everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. The B1 philosophy. B1 means that we must put ourselves as a top priority, nobody else. We will solve our own problems before we solve problems for anybody else. B1 also means that we believe Black people can be number one in economic intelligence, financial literacy, and everything in between by the year 2050. B1 also means we understand we must be one in order to be successful. If you agree with that philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number one in the chat. Hashtag B1. B1 is our calling card. Put that in the chat if you agree with that, with the B1 philosophy. Also, the Black Business School, our Black core of 3 is that we believe Black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support Black businesses. So everybody, please let me know if you agree with that philosophy, and then we can get started. Also, hello to everybody on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. Give me a yes on if you can hear me. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me right now, because on my Instagram, I have you guys on my phone, and my phone just rang, and I had to hit a button. So let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Just that way I can make sure that I'm coming through okay. Can you hear me? Okay, I see some yeses. Good. Thank you very much. And somebody said 2050 is too long. No, 2050 is not too long when you talk about empire building. China has a 200-year plan for their society. I don't know if y'all know that. The Japanese have 200 and 300-year plans. See, what y'all got to understand is that if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. My number one statement to my kids, if I brought one of my kids down and said, what is the thing that Boyce likes to say more than any other thing in the world? You know what they would say? They would say preparation is the key to success. Preparation is the key to success. Wealth and power don't come overnight. It doesn't come from winning at the bingo hall or going on the casino boat and hitting the lucky number. Wealth does not come from getting a record deal and having some white man write you a check. Wealth comes from long-term planning and preparation. Do you think that they gentrified your neighborhood do you think they've started planning for gentrification last week? Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Do you think gentrification, do you think last Tuesday they said, hey, we're going to go and gentrify all the Black neighborhoods? No, they were planning for gentrification 50 years ago. 50 years ago, wealthy people plan across generations. So the first step toward becoming wealthy is to start acting like a wealthy person, thinking the way a wealth builder thinks. And a wealth builder is a long-term planner. Long-term planning is your first step to becoming an investor. The life that I live right now, and I'm not a guy who's on Instagram flexing, pretending to be happy with my life. I really am happy with my life. I really am happy with the amount of money I make. I really am happy with the beautiful woman I married. I really am happy with the fact that I lost all this weight. And understand this, a lot of the life I live right now is because of things I did 30 years ago. Things I did in 1992 play a huge impact on the things that are happening in 2021. So anybody who thinks that a 50-year plan is too long for Black people have to understand that that's short. That's not a long time. 50 years ain't nothing when you're talking about nation building. It really, the 50, that's the baby plan. The long-term plan is 200-300 years into the future. So come on now. We got to grow up a little bit. All right. So do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. I just had a conversation with Dr. Claude Anderson. And first of all, let me just stop for one moment. Sometimes I'm a little bit too business oriented. First of all, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the daddies out here that are doing the damn job, getting it done, getting it in, putting it in, making it happen. Thank you to all the biological daddies. Thank you to all the step daddies. Thank you to all the bonus daddies. Thank you to all the part-time neighborhood daddies. Thank you to all the daddies who are coaching youth football teams and mentoring little boys who don't have a daddy. Thank you to every Black man on this planet who cares about Black children. That is a daddy to me. You are a daddy. You are a father. I don't care if you never gave birth to a child. God bless you. We love you. We appreciate you 100%. Now I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to take in. You can give me, I'm going to go ahead and celebrate. If it's okay, I hope I have permission to do this. I'm going to go. Today is my birthday. And it's my 50th birthday, so the big 50. So I will take in all the happy birthdays that you have for me. Go ahead, come on. Go ahead, just shower it on me. My daughter called me this morning and she sang happy birthday to me. Then she started beatboxing. It just sounded crazy, but it was the most wonderful thing in the world. I wish I could have recorded it because I would have kept it for 100 years. So yeah, so I will go ahead and take in the happy birthdays. Okay, so forgive me for taking that moment. I know that it's probably a little long-winded because y'all want me to get to the point, but I got to go ahead and do that to let y'all know I'm not a complete nerd in terms of being focused on the task at hand, because I'm really thinking about what I want to share with you. I just want to take a moment to let you know that I am appreciating the moment and I love you very much. All right, so here's the deal. So I called Dr. Anderson today, and Dr. Anderson is my second father. I have I have three fathers. I have a biological father named Boyce. I have a father who was technically my stepfather, but he was my real father. And then I have Claude Anderson, who is my next father. That is my intellectual father, and spiritual. I love this man immensely. So I called him and wished him a happy Father's Day. And we got to talking about Black folks. And let me tell you, Dr. Anderson loves Black folks to the T. He loves you so much. All he talks about is Black people. Even when y'all ain't thinking, even people ain't thinking about him, he's thinking about Black folks. He's talking about even whether he's on the speaking tour or not. He's always sharing ideas about Black folks. And one of the things we were talking about today was this Juneteenth holiday, this Juneteenth federal holiday. Now, give me a yes or no if you feel a little bit weird about this Juneteenth holiday. Give me a yes or no if you kind of feel like there's something missing here. Give me a yes or no if you kind of feel like, well, maybe they skipped the step. Right? I don't know about y'all, but I personally felt like, okay, wait a minute. We can't get you to say the word reparations, but you're giving us this symbolism. You promised to meet with Ice Cube after the election. The Biden administration promised to meet with Ice Cube and his team of scholars. He has a team of scholars. It's not just them talking to a rapper. This wasn't a Cardi B conversation. This was a conversation with him and his team of scholars. And I know these scholars. They're very, very bright. They promised to meet with him after the election. They did not follow through with that promise because Cube and I knew it was BS from the jump. We said, oh yeah, they really planned. Yeah, they're really going to meet us after the election. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Right. We knew it was BS. They knew it was BS. Well, guess what? Months later, it was BS. They haven't even talked to Black Lives Matter. I mean, these are pretty much the safe Negroes. These are the ones who really want that integration piece. They want to be on your team, and you won't even talk to them. So you haven't talked to Black Lives Matter. You haven't talked to Ice Cube's team. You haven't talked about reparations, but yet you come through with this Juneteenth holiday stuff. So what that's been designed to do is it's basically taking advantage of those in the community who don't have a lot of political and economic consciousness. That is, they're appealing to the lowest common denominator in the sense of people who will just settle for anything. You know, it's like the guy who comes to the club and wants to meet a woman, and the first woman says, well, you know, I'm here to meet a man that I can maybe one day marry. And he says, no, that's too much for me. I don't want that responsibility. And then the next woman, she says, well, I expect a man to treat me with respect and to commit to me at some point if it's a quality relationship. He says, no, I don't want all of that. Then another one says, look, I just expect a man to take me out to eat a couple times and just be nice to me. You know, it ain't got to be serious, but I just want to be nice to me. He's like, no, that's too much. I can't afford. Who can afford to go to Burger King with those prices, right? But then you run into the bottom of the basement. You run into that person who says, I'll go sleep with you in the bathroom. I'll just, you know, you just drop it like it's hot. Cardi B told me that if you give me a couple dollars, I should shake it for you, do whatever you want. He says, that's my woman. That's the one that I want. Right. So basically with Black folks, you have different people with different standards. You have different levels of standards in terms of what we expect. So you got the Black folks at the top who say, standards. Cut the damn check. And don't just make it a little check, make it a big one. Don't give us the wrong check. Give us the right check. Don't give us the tiny amount. Give us the real amount. Don't give us the little kid money. We want the big boy money, right? Those are the people that they don't want to talk to because those people have receipts. They have books like Black Labor, White Wealth, written by Dr. Claude Anderson, which extensively and in detail explains the whole reason why Black people deserve reparations. There's no study needed. There's no reason to spend 7 years looking into it. Dr. Anderson has been looking into it for 40 years, and the receipts are all over the place. That's a delay tactic. That is a delay tactic. That's a game in politics. They just delay, right? And then you got Black folks who say they'll take, you know, maybe a medium-sized check. Like, look, we just want you to do something. Just do something that we can touch and feel, and that's okay too. I'm not dismissing those individuals at all, because I can get that. I understand why you might be in that category to say, look, we don't get 15 trillion, but we'll take 5 trillion, or maybe even 2 trillion, 3 trillion, whatever. I don't agree, but that's fine. Right. And then you get another tier below where you get Black folks that want maybe some federal subsidies and small business loans and things like that. And then you get Black folks that just don't want nothing. They don't want nothing except the possibility that they can go to the grocery store and have white folks sell them some beef jerky without calling them the N-word. Or they want to celebrate the idea that they can go work for a white man's company for the rest of their lives and leave nothing to their children. Or maybe that they can go and live in a white neighborhood, or maybe they can go to a big white university and have white folks bring them in and let them, maybe take a class on critical race theory or something. And no disrespect to that. I'm not disrespecting that, right? But really, they're not really at the same space we are. So to some extent, people like us are a little bit radical. I think the B1 philosophy is a lot for people to take in. I don't think it should be, but because I think putting yourself at the top of the priority list is okay. I think it's okay to be black first, but some people think that's a little bit too much. We're asking for too much. And I think that those people that are at the bottom of the barrel are the ones that they're appealing to with this Juneteenth holiday. Because here's the deal. The Juneteenth holiday is symbolism. That's all it is, pretty much. That's pretty much all it is. I mean, there is that added benefit that it is a federal holiday, which means you get to take off work. Fine. You're going to start seeing it become corporatized. You're going to have, the Juneteenth mattress sale at your local, mattress company, right? You are going to have these stupid Juneteenth dinners at these racist universities that don't even hire black people. They don't hire any black people. They use up black athletes and take $1 billion in wealth out of the black community every year. Don't have a lot of respect for black folks in general. Don't want to talk to black folks like me or Dr. Anderson or a Farrakhan type person, but they will sit there and have a Juneteenth dinner with you on campus and make you feel like everything's okay for that particular day, right? And they'll talk about polite little things like microaggressions and how you can be more racially sensitive. And in their mind, they're like, yeah, let's just be nicer as long as we get to keep all the money, as long as we keep all the power, as long as we are driving the car, as long as we are controlling the campus, as long as we are controlling the corporations, as long as we are controlling the media, as long as we are controlling the resources, then let's just be nicer to our slaves. Let's be nicer to our black people that come work for us, because it ain't right to be mean to black people. So instead of actually giving black folks the big boy money and partnership status in this country, economically speaking, they say, well, we'll write a nice little check. A $100 billion corporation will write a check for $500,000, and they know that people who ain't got nothing are going to be thankful. They're going to say, thank you, sir, and they're going to go on about their day. Right? That's fine. I'm not dogging that, but that's not who I am, right? I know the receipts. I know finance. I know money. I know wealth. And I know when you're playing me. I just know, right? So anyway, as I move forward, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. And I want to remind you guys that I have a book that you can have for free. It's called It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. And it lays out my 50-year vision for the black community. I think it's a great book for your family. Feel free to go take a look at allblackeconomics.com. The URL's on the screen. That's allblackeconomics.com. Hit the thumbs up button. Take 1 second, hit the thumbs up button and put a B1 in the chat after you hit the thumbs up button. So let me first of all summarize what Dr. Anderson said, and then I'm going to read to you what he told me to read to you. And this is from his book called The Black History Reader. This should be the first history book that your children read. It's The Black History Reader. You can get a copy at his website, powernomics.com. And so the first thing he said is that Juneteenth pretty much was just a military tactic. It was a military tactic where black people, just like today, were used as pawns in a battle between the liberals and the conservatives. Now, how often have you seen that happen? Where black folks are used as a pawn to win an election, or as a tool in a major power play, right? The liberals and conservatives are going back and forth. The liberals are saying that the conservatives are going to kill you. The conservatives are saying the liberals are running a plantation, and you're kind of going back and forth, right? You're literally like a hoe trying to pick which pimp you want to go work for. Like, well, your bitch told me. Well, your bitch told me, right? Like it becomes literally like that movie, like the Goldie the pimp arguing over which guy owns this woman, right? When really she should be owning herself, right? Really, she should be walking out of that whole situation, but maybe her self-esteem isn't intact, like a lot of our people. So they're scared to kind of say, I'm just going to be B1. I want to own me. You're not owning none of this, right? But that's what they do. So basically, this game has been going on for hundreds of years. It isn't just something that just started this week. It's not something that just started in the last election. It's something that has been going on since forever. And so basically, what you have with Juneteenth and the origins of it was the liberals, the people in the North, your so-called friends, were basically saying, okay, how do we hurt the people in the South? How do we hurt the conservatives? They said, oh, I know what we can do. We can free their slaves. We can declare all their slaves to be free, right? And that's going to hurt them. That's going to undermine their power. So we know the game, right? They didn't do it because they love us. They didn't do it because they felt like slavery was just horribly wrong. I mean, there were black people being lynched in the North. I don't know if y'all know that. When black folks came up north and were taking jobs from white folks, when they were taking jobs away from people that felt that those jobs belonged to them, where they were challenging their white entitlement, they were killing those black people in New York. Don't think that because you're going to, do you understand? When I went from Kentucky to New York, I thought I was going to a place where the white folks are nicer up there. And some of them are very nice people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I hate white folks. I'm not saying I hate anybody. I don't have time to hate.
Done it again, didn't I? I did it again. I did it again, being too clever for my own good. What's going
When
on?
you
What's going on, man? I'm being too clever for my own good here. Let me see if I can catch that fly again, man. Let me see if I can catch that fly again. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
understand that I ran into more racism up there than I saw back home. I said, ain't this a bitch? Wait a minute. Y'all supposed to be our friends, but you're not acting like my friend right now. You're acting a little bit like an oppressor. So this is a tradition. This is a tradition. So one thing Dr. Anderson said is that
Like
Juneteenth is pretty much a military tactic. It's nothing but symbolism. He mentioned, he said 2 billion acres. I got to double check that of land that was given away mostly to immigrants. And now 2 billion acres sounds like a lot of land. So I wonder how many acres of land are in the U.S. Let me see. The U.S. has 2.43 billion acres of land. So yeah, 2 billion sounds like an accurate number. So what he was basically saying, I'm going to extrapolate on this and assume that what he meant is that we should be getting some of that 2 billion. I'll take 1 billion. How about you? How about this? How about we vote amongst intelligent Black people? If they offer to give us 1 billion acres of land, how many of y'all would be okay with that? Would y'all take 1 billion acres of land?
Yeah.
Right, that would be, if there's 40 million of us, I don't know,
Yeah, you could
what's
build a wall
that,
out of
times
that.
50?
You could build a wall out of
50
that.
acres. So that's 50 acres and a mule. I think 40 acres plus interest, right? Maybe, but we deserve a lot more interest in that. But I would take 1 billion acres of land. That would be a nice federal proclamation. Wouldn't you agree? That would make me happy. And so he says also, so he says that basically the immigration was used to harm you. The immigration policies in the United States were used to dilute your votes to the point where eventually your votes won't mean anything because you're voting for your own demise. They're getting you to vote for open borders, which ultimately will lead to you being discriminated against, not just by white people in the United States, but you'll be discriminated against by white people who came from south of the border. One of the things people don't understand, and this is not me being negative or trying to be the asshole in the room, is that if you go to Latin America, you will find that the racism there is worse than it is in the United States. If you go to Brazil, you will find that they hate Black people more than they even hate Black people here. They have millions of Black people in Brazil that they don't even put on TV. So the point of the matter is to say that anybody who makes you think that there is some sort of broad coalition between Black people and every single person who comes from Latin America, that's nonsense. It doesn't mean that there's not a coalition or potential connection with say, Afro-Latina folks, right? Black folks who are from Latin America, who are like us, who go through what we've gone through. That coalition is real. But the idea that some blonde-haired, blue-eyed person can come from Colombia and connect with you because you're Black, that is just not true, right? So just make sure you don't go through life thinking that, because you're going to be wrong. Now, one other thing Dr. Anderson mentioned that I did not know is he mentioned that there were actually 5. Give me a yes or no if you knew this. There were 5 Emancipation Proclamations. Did y'all know that? There were 5 different Emancipation Proclamations where Black folks were proclaimed to be free, right? And that was just a little factoid. And he asked me specifically to read from his book, The Black History Reader, which everybody should read, on page 109. And I'm going to read it. What he does is he answers a series of Black history questions that they'll never give you the answers to in school. So if you want your child to be versed on Black history, I encourage you to have them read this book and have them memorize the answers to all these questions, because that would be an adequate history lesson for them. So hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. And my Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. It's right there. So follow me on Instagram if you haven't done it yet. And hit that thumbs up button and put a B1 in the chat once you're done. I'm going to read this to you. It says this on page 109 of the Black History Reader. It says, considering the fact that in the 21st century, Blacks are still treated as a socioeconomic underclass and political outgroup, the real legal status of Blacks in America is unclear. History reveals that since the founding of this country, there were numerous Emancipation Proclamations that proposed to end slavery and set Blacks free. However, none, in fact, did that. The nation's first Emancipation Proclamation was proposed by Lord Dunmore, the British Royal Governor of Virginia, in November 1775, on the eve of the American Revolutionary War. Lord Dunmore offered freedom to any slave who would take up arms against the colonies and fight with the British troops. Again, Black folks being used as a pawn, right? Lord Dunmore didn't. He could have freed the slaves last Tuesday, right? He could have done it. He could have did it the week before, but he didn't. He did it then because he said, "Man, we need these. We need these Negroes. That they will be an excellent pawn in our epic battle to fight and to preserve our power." right? So you are consistently used as a pawn for power.
We don't give.
Right? So you got to understand, this is not new. It says Lord Dunmore offered, okay, so 3 months later, fearful of the harm armed and angry slaves would bring to European white colonists, Lord Dunmore reconsidered and withdrew his Emancipation Proclamation to free the blacks. So even Lord Dunmore, this man who was your friend, even back then you probably had black people saying, yeah, hey y'all, they trying to help us. Lord Dunmore is our friend. We don't call him Uncle Dunmore. Uncle Dunmore, that's my buddy. Even your buddy, Lord Dunmore, who filed the first Emancipation Proclamation, he said, oh, wait a minute. He had a fear of a black planet. He said, wait a minute. We give guns to these black people. They might use those guns. That's not good. So he withdrew the Emancipation Proclamation. Again, this person that was supposed to be your friend wasn't really your friend. How often have we seen that? Nearly a century later, in 1852, a second Emancipation Proclamation was drafted in response to Nat Turner's slave revolt. So Nat Turner has a slave revolt. They draft another Emancipation Proclamation in 1852. Turner's revolt shook the nation, especially the southern slaveholding states. Mm-hmm. So when they see black men stand up, as men, that scares everybody. So Nat Turner stood up like a man. Ashe to Nat Turner. Type Nat Turner in the chat. God bless him. Let's bring him in the room. He needs to hear this. So frightened by the successful slave revolt in Haiti and Nat Turner's revolt in Virginia, many Southern slaveholders indicated a willingness to end black enslavement and resettle blacks into Africa, Texas, or the Caribbean islands. Do y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? So they said that because Nat Turner stood up, because he wasn't buck broken, he bucked up on them. And in Haiti, they bucked up on him. That's what happens when you punch the bully in the mouth. The bully starts to reconsider whether or not bullying is an adequate strategy, right? So Toussaint and Nat bucked up. They showed them what a real man looks like. And they said, maybe we should probably not try to enslave this group of people because apparently there's some real men up in the bunch. See, so dear black man, when you start bucking up and start showing your manhood, they're going to say, maybe Tyrone's not fit for slavery. Maybe we need to make another arrangement. And then they said, we need to get these Negroes out of here. Right? They said, we don't want them to be our neighbors because we're scared because white guilt's kicking in. They're thinking, my God, if I were them, I would want to kill me. So they said, look, let's free them. Let's send them to Africa, Texas, or the Caribbean islands. Shortly thereafter, the mere thought of over 4 million angry, armed blacks in the streets quickly galvanized Virginia legislators to offer what constituted a third Emancipation Proclamation that proposed simply to abolish slavery. Ironically, nearly half of Virginia's legislators voted to abolish slavery in Virginia, the birthplace of Black American slavery. They came just a few votes short of ending slavery and preventing the Civil War that followed. So they came real close to doing the right thing. Now, mind you, pay attention now. Here's what I'm picking up on this as I'm reading this. I have not read this chapter yet, but this is my processing of this. What drove them to do the right thing was not the fact that it was just the right thing to do. They weren't driven to do the right thing because they held hands and saying, we shall overcome with you at the local church. They weren't driven to do the right thing because you had a march and a protest in the streets. They were driven to do the right thing because you stood up and said, I'm going to make you, if you don't make yourself an honest man today, I'm going to make you an honest man by putting this foot square up your ass. That's my type of civil rights movement right there. That's my type of, this is the Black history they don't teach you in school. I'm with you at the local church. They weren't driven to do the right thing because you had a march and a protest in the streets. They were driven to do the right thing because you stood up and said, I'm going to make you, if you don't make yourself an honest man today, I'm going to make you an honest man by putting this foot square up your ass. That's my type of civil rights movement right there. That's my type of, this is the Black history they don't teach you in school. How many of you have ever had a white teacher in history class ever teach you any of this? How many of you have ever had anybody teach you anything like this at all? Give me a yes in the chat. Give me a no if you haven't. I bet none of you have ever had a white history teacher ever teach you this part of Black history. You probably don't even know that there's more than one Emancipation Proclamation. You might thought there was just one. Abraham Lincoln decided that he wants to free the slaves, and there was a statue of him petting a slave on the head like a damn dog. You might have seen that statue where the slave is down like this and Abraham Lincoln's petting him on the head. I could have swore I saw, like, no, I saw a mural of Abraham Lincoln when I went to Howard University. Man, y'all got to get rid of that. Come on now, give me a break. But what made them pass these laws was the fact that Black people stood up. Do you understand? They did this out of fear. Slave is down like this and Abraham Lincoln's petting him on the head. I could have swore I saw, like, no, I saw a mural of Abraham Lincoln when I went to Howard University. Man, y'all got to get rid of that. Come on now, give me a break. But what made them pass these laws was the fact that Black people stood up. Do you understand? They did this out of fear. Again, this is how you deal with a bully. You don't deal with a bully by trying to negotiate and be polite and become friends. What you do is you let the bully know, hey, I'd like to be your friend, but since you're choosing another form of diplomacy, how about I come up with just
information right there?
And then we'll just see how
too much information right there. Right on this day, the 19th of the 6th. Yes. There's a lot of people out there who's as they would call it now. Some of them people who do some historical evidence and those who put out some informations. There's a lot of cooning going on. There's a lot of cooning going on. Right? Grand risings to everybody. Welcome to the galaxy of we.net. Wow, what a day, what a day, what a day, what a day. Here we go again. Is this the beginning? Or is it the end? Or is it in the middle of this cycle? Each way, it's another day. It's another day. Let's be grateful for the whole day, yes?
Take it from the start, listening closely. There's plenty of time for me to get where I belong. I want you to know me, take it in slowly, till all of your fears and inhibitions are gone. And when it is time, you can hold on tight, alright, and say to me, ooh, do it again to me. You say, ooh, do it again to me. When I get up on time, lift your legs. I keep up the tempo, yes, stay gentle. You take a deep breath and scream my name. It feels so good. Now let's take a moment before we start over again. And when it is time, you can hold on tight, alright, and say to me, do it again, hold on, do it again to me, alright, you say, do it again to me, alright. And when it is time, you can hold on tight, alright, and say to me, do it again, alright, do it again to me, and say, do it again, do it again, do it again to me, do it again, and say, do it again, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to waste my breath speaking to you on why you all gossiping. We need unity. We need strength. The blasted mic ain't working. We're here today to respect our ancestors.
Yeah.
And can you put your hands up, please, and show me any one of you who do not have an ancestors? Show me all of you who have ancestors. Are you proud of your ancestors? Yes. Could you remember the stories of your ancestors? Yes. Could you remember the food your ancestors gave you? Yes. Could you remember the clothes your ancestors gave you? Yes. Do you love yourself? Yes. Okay, let's start talking. What we've achieved. We haven't achieved anything in England. We've achieved in our country. I'm a 67-year-old woman from the small island of Trinidad and Tobago. My grandmother had blue eyes, black skin, beautiful hair. And for some reason, I was really, really jealous of my grandmother. I would look at those eyes and I'd say, why aren't my eyes like yours? At the age of 7, my grandmother said to me, child, these are slave eyes. I said, what do you mean, Granny, slave eyes? She said, my grandmother was raped by a white man. I've got black skin, but I've got blue eyes. Immediately I hate, oh, it's not working again. Immediately I got a hate in my mind for the white people.
Yeah.
And I had to live as a black woman, growing up in a small island of Trinidad and Tobago, where it was ruled by white people. My little district, I'll come from Gascoigne. The end of my district is my South Africa. The white people live there in oil fields, our oil fields. Our people, my people, work as servants. They work as slaves. On Friday, I remember the first time I looked at a white man and I spat in his face. I was 11 years of age. 11 years of age. Every Friday, this white man would come out on this big horse and he will stand by the butchers. And this Indian man would give nobody else meat. The mic has gone again. Come on, fix the mic. And he would say, the man will give him, how this damn thing and read. Listen. Shh.
This is our Mama Margaret.
Friday,
Mama Margaret.
This man would come out and he would get the first piece of beef. The first piece of beef he would get. You hold it. He'll hold it and I'll speak. And I said to myself at the age of 12, why should this man get the first piece of beef when my grandmother could only get the foot? I walked up to him and I said, you ain't eaten before my grandmother eat today. And he looked down at me and he said, what the hell you're speaking about? I spat in his face and I told him, man, can my grandmother get the first piece of meat?
All right.
I'm 67 years of age. A white man has never touched me. I believe that a white man has never come near to me. What we have achieved, we've achieved nothing. We've worked for everything. Because of us, Bogotete here, and other people, you can live in Bermondsey. Because of us, you can go to most of the markets and work. Because of us, who call ourselves black people who have fight for you all. Where is our boat? Where our plane? Where our army? When are we going to have a plane for ourselves to fly to Africa? When are we going to have a boat that we can sit in? I came to this country in 1965 on a boat. I traveled 14 days and 14 nights to be a nurse. I know what our foreparents went through. When you get up one morning and you look out, and you see sea on one side, sea on the other side, not even a bloody fish, and you have to fight for survival. We are not fighting. We are soft. We are cowards. Our children have to see us work. Our children have to respect. We have to know to unite. We have to unite from the bottom of our hearts, not at the phone of our foot. We can't see somebody today and say, hello, how are you? I like you. And then tomorrow you think, F her, I don't like her. We cannot survive. How many of you on mornings get up and think, what another black person is eating? Is another black person alive? How many of you would get up and say, let me wash a vagrant on the street who is black? How many of you know you're black? Show me your faces. Show me your fingers. Lift your hands up if you're black. Show me that you're black. I am black. And if you're black, we're Africans. And we can go forward. What we have achieved, I am thinking, we've achieved nothing. Until you can be soldiers in your hearts, brave, be the person that you want to be the person that our ancestors fought for, be the person that our ancestors fight and die for. We are nothing. We can strip ourselves and we can look ourselves when you go home. Take your clothes off, look at yourself in the mirror and say, who am I? I am me. I'm a proud black woman, a proud African woman. I might be sick, but by the duty of these people from Galaxy, I will be able to walk. Amen. And any one of you here who say you're black, be black. You don't have to be black skinned to be black. You have to be black from the bottom of your heart, the sole of your feet. I am not a Rasta. I am not a Christian. I don't belong to any religion. My body is my temple. My body is my God. And I hope it could be the same to you. Respect. I don't want to carry on for the last 15 minutes for you all to say, what is this woman speaking about? You don't have a gun. You don't have to have a gun to kill a man. You don't have to have a gun to take over from a white man. You have to be proud. You have to have your heart and you have to be black. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Grand rises to one and all. Grand rises to one and all. Welcome to the galaxy of the week.
Night turned cold, the stars look down, and you hug yourself on the cold, cold ground. You wake the morning in a stranger's coat, no one would just see. You ask yourself, who'd watch for me, my only friend? Who could it be? It's hard to say it, I hate to say it, but it's probably me. When your belly is empty, the hunger's so real, you're too proud to beg, you're too dumb to steal. You search the city for your only friend, no one would just see. You ask yourself, who could it be? A solitary voice speaking out, set me free. I hate to say it, I hate to say it, but it's probably me. You're not the easiest person I ever got to know, but it's hard for us both to let our feelings show. Some would say I should let you go your way. You only make me cry. But if there's one guy, just one guy, who would lay down his life for you and I had to say it. It's hard to say it, but it's probably me. When the world's gone crazy, it makes no sense. There's only one voice that comes to your defense. The jury is out, your eyes search the room. The only friendly face is all you need to see. Oh, if there's just one guy who would lay down his life for you and I. It's hard to say it, it's hard to say it, but it's probably me. It's hard to say it, it's hard to say it, it's probably me. Oh, it's hard to say it, it's hard to say it, but it's probably me. Oh, I will lay down my life, I will lay down my life for you. Oh, hey, it's hard to say.
Did you miss me? I've been here all the time, you know. I've been here all the time. 0203 289 6504. I've been here all the time. Love you people. Love it, love it, love it. What an inspirational past few days that we've had. What the outpouring is emotional. And as I keep repeating this word, I know, inspirational. And it's so fantastic to see the unification of our community as we move from strength to strength. And I love to be around the new generation that is evolving. And I give thanks. Even though, but personally, I was only there for a few hours at our parents' and ancestors' Appreciation Day. But even in the few hours that I was there, it was like a gift of total immersion into who Galaxy, what Galaxy has done, where Galaxy is going, and we as the Galaxy family are bonding, and we are becoming more stronger every day in every way. Loving it. Lines are open if you wish to come in on this morning, on this great and lovely morning. It's a bit cooler than usual, isn't it? Right? It's a bit cooler than usual, but you know what? Let's just be grateful that we have the day. Been hearing of the passing of some of our people, whether they're associated with Galaxy or not, but they're still, we all start of a part of a collective of the community. And wives, husbands, children, all making their transition into the next realm. And my mind is on the thoughts of that, their life journey, their earth journey has ceased. And then, there's always this thing on the back of, what plays in the back of my mind anyway. Age. You're hearing of mothers who are passing away at the age of like 50 or in their 40s. And it's immediately I say, that's no life. That's no life. And obviously, their time has come. Their time has come, and they're moving on. And then you think to yourself, what you would have done, what would you be, or what position would you be in if you stepped out at that time or that age? Where would you be? How would you be? How would your families, how would your immediate families cope without your presence there? This is why we must have peace of mind. Don't leave any stone unturned. We must do everything that we need to do today. Don't leave it for tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes, because it's always tomorrow. Let's do it today. Take some actions towards ensuring that our lives are in, and our affairs are in place right now. Yes, it's just a little words out there, and I really do wish and hope that all of us are to hearing this, and that we all take action on this. Ensure that you are ready for the time when the bell tolls. Oh, it's time, Elia. So, make sure that everything is there. Okay? Saves a lot of upheaval and confusion, and unfortunately in-house squabbling in some homes, which we have addressed on many a time on the Galaxy, here on the Galaxy, because boy, if we leave things to life and the good nature of our families and things, then you find out the real nature of your family when your eye close. Yeah, I'm telling you. Almost everyone away. Any one of us who has experienced this would never foresee them type of behavior there. But I'm telling you, these things do come out, and the ugly head of life and reality does rear up. And it's a shame. It is a real shame how some are treated or have been treated over all of the time and the lifetime. And the sad things is that it can cause, and it has caused divisions of the family, divisions over what? Divisions over what? But such is life, and so life goes on, you know. Anyhow, 0203 289-6504. We're here on the Galaxy in the Grand Rising show, in the Grand Risings of all, right? Ancestors Day. What's your experience? I know that some of us has came and we shared our experience of the day, and what we took away from there, and I would like to exp- ex- I would like to impart my appreciation of all who were there and all the participants as well who contributed to a, I would say, a milestone, a milestone. And the reason why I say a milestone, because this year, this year has been stamped in duty in our DNA of the I was there. Yeah, it's been stamped in our DNA of I was there. Listening and interacting with all of our beautiful family was such an inspiration for me. Because many a time, right? I've sat here in the studio, and I've like thought to myself that, wow, what I'm saying, what I'm sharing with the family is some information that I feel that is vital for the structure and the forward evolving structure of our communities. I purposely, maybe because it's the way how I structure myself personally, right? But I purposely try not to bring in many of the news or the distractions of what we're presented with. I'm looking for the betterment of us. So therefore, most of my programmings or programs structures are based around us in developing our community, developing our communication, in developing our education for what we need to evolve. This is why I love the fact that our youngs are surpassing the educational substandard education of the system. The thing that I would love to see now is for us to develop an employment, a development system for those who are ready to lead us into the next level of our evolvement. As Dr. Boyce Watson said, as Dr. Boyce Watson said and put it there, and he took it from Claude Anderson. I took a statement from Claude Anderson saying that it's not the marching or the demonstrations, it's the foot up the ass that is going to make somebody move. Yeah, we will change you. We will ensure that you will treat us and be a better person, because that is what we deserve. That is what we deserve. Our standards are not the standards that you wish to impose upon us. Our standards far surpass anything that you can actually give to us, show to us. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you can go into an environment or a different place and you've been given acknowledgement just for you to just walk into that room and people, when okay, when you was in school, right? And there was like the teacher would walk into the classroom or the head teacher would walk into the classroom, and then all of a sudden everybody straightened their back up. They straightened their back up, right? And then they got their head down like they're studying, they're doing something with paperwork or whatever, or even stop talking. The gossiping and the fidgeting stop, and all of a sudden they're just working. They're all working. Yeah. Imagine now. Imagine now that you could be, and it's not as strict, but you get that attention just for you being you, the normal you. Why? Because they see a standard that is something that they would like to see and like to be associated with. They may come and greet you, right? Our sisters, right? Our brothers greet you, right? They greet you with honor and respect, you know, and vice versa. The sisters will greet our brothers with honor and respect. You feel comfortable. No form of threat. There's a balance there. There's a balance there. Yeah. Each one teach one. Each one grows one. Right? Iron sharpen iron. There's that healthy exchange of information, assistance, right? Healthy exchanging. What a beautiful way of how we are. What a beautiful way of how we are living. That is what I saw, even in my observations at the parents and ancestors' appreciation. Yeah, that's what I saw. Beautiful. All our sisters, all our brothers. We were there, and we came out in our fineries. We came there, and we felt that this is occasion to dress in our cultural expressive ways. Yeah, everybody was greeting everybody, giving acknowledgement to their presence, to their contributions to who Galaxy and what Galaxy have done to them. And when you listen to how each one's journey has been with the interaction of being with or listening to Galaxy, listening to those who call in to Galaxy in support of others, it is still extremely important that we do not hold back. Still, there are those who listen and they don't react directly with us. I was speaking with a brother. Out the back, in the garden rest area. I was speaking with a brother there, and he was expressing this a similar experience of, he don't really call in you know, because it looks like, it sounds like everybody's so intelligent. Everybody here is so articulate. Everybody here is so expressive in how, and passionate of how they speak. So, you know, it's probably, it feels that, what could he actually contribute to the conversation? And we was having a conversation. We was having a conversation there, and he was posing some theoretical questions. One of them, and I still have to go and see. I still have to go and research this one, because I don't want to just give like an answer that is not going to be worthy of the question that he asked, right? And I'm going to put it to the Galaxy family, because even if we think on this thing, think on it, right? I think that is one of those questions that, when somebody gives you a question and you have to hold on, but there's an obvious answer. But let me just do some research into this thing, right? And he's saying, why does water, and how does water come from the mountains? Right? Immediately, I'm thinking, what is wait a minute, it's not just gravity, right? And it's not just the water pressure. Because remember, the Earth is a living planet itself. It's a living organism. And why is it a living organism? Because it reproduces. It reproduces. So most of us are living on dead ground when they've taken the minerals out, and we're living in these boxes, these concrete boxes, which has no life force within them. Why? Because it's not organic. In other words, it's dead. It's dead material. Right? The time when it was alive is when it was within the earth, and it was developing and going through its phases of changing into different minerals, or doing its what they call it now, molecular changes, right? You understand? Like, just like how wood rots down, and then it gets compressed to such an extent that it crystallizes and forms diamonds. Yeah. Okay. Going through that molecular changes. Right. Just like all the other minerals and everything, when they come together, they make gold, silver, all of the elements out there that we have identified, and probably there are 100,000 more different elements that we have not identified. But these are the type of things that our bodies are made of, and the planet is made of. All right. So let's be in appreciation of where we are as humanoids existing on this planetary, and how we are so much in line with nature, and the fact that we should try to connect with nature, in other words, the earth, directly, on as often occasion as we can, even to do our meditation. It reminds me of a scene from the fictitious movie, the Avatar. Right? And they had and I will call it this, the tree of life. They had the tree of life there, and it was glowing in the middle of their inhabitants, and everybody would go there for meditation and connectivity, and they would make a contact with each other, and even with their contact with each other, they contacted with the earth as well, right? And then you saw the energy. They depicted the energy flowing from all to feed, and they were feeding from the tree, and the tree was feeding from them in their existence. And who wanted to come and destroy that which fed them? Yeah. Look at who wanted to come and destroy that, disconnect them. The thought that no, we want the minerals, right? We want that in preference to what was given already from that, which was life itself. They were not interested in that. Yes. So where and how does the water come from the mountains? Eh? Yeah. Unless you actually know, right? Unless you actually know, and you could speak of the journey of the water, right? Let's bring that answer for another time. Let's bring that answer for another time. But it's a beautiful question. It's a beautiful question, I have to say. Beautiful question. So that's my conundrum for this strong, right? To figure that one out. He's put one into my head now. He's put one into my head, and it's strong. It is strong. It's there. It's there, and I have to go and find that answer. I have to find that answer, even if it takes me on a journey through my years of experience of what I've known and what I've heard and what I've seen. Yeah. So I have to go and do that one. I have to take that journey. You never know, Matt. Make a meditation out of it too. Come to water journey. Water journey. Anyhow, yeah. So as I'm saying, right? If you want to come and talk, you can come and talk, right? First thing in the morning is good to have that interaction, conversations there as well. Also, and I'm just going by what was there at the ancestors day, and I am so glad. I'm so glad that we were able to actually give out many awards of appreciation of who of all those contributors over our period of time here on the galaxy, right? Ah, here we are. You just messaged me, said that you can't make it. It was up and down walking street. Isn't it? We're not in play with you no more. Go ahead. Grand Risings, my sister. Grand Risings.
Grand Rising,
Good,
brother. Grand
good night.
Rising.
Good night, Mrs. Smith. Yeah, right. Yeah. Earlier, so I was just talking about the Ancestors Day um event, and it's how inspirational it was for myself,
Okay.
the interactions that I've had there as well.
Mm.
All right, so let me just finish on this point. Then. There was a sister that visited, yeah, and she was directed. No, she was told of like the program that I do. And recently, as I said, I've been giving out this um, call for those who would wish to have some counseling.
Mm-hmm.
that they could contact me or get in contact with me, and they would be able to have a few sessions with myself, right? And see if they would like to have the counseling and see what we can do for them, right? So let me give out my number and contact for that, right? So if you're interested in having some counseling sessions, right? And it literally is any subject and everything right across the board, right? So if you want to have some counseling sessions, you can contact me. And my name's Aston, and it's 079 50 200 899. So it's 079 50 200 899. Okay, so you can contact me on that number there, and I will get directly back to you. What I would request you to do, right, is that you could either call me or you can text and message me on either WhatsApp or text, and just put down your name and counseling. Okay, and in our conversation, we will find out how we can move this all forward. Okay, so if you wish to do that, you can do that. Right, so it's 079 50 200 899. Okay, Grand Risings, my sister.
Grand rising, brother.
Mhm.
So I didn't
So
go anywhere.
you didn't go anywhere.
I didn't go anywhere. So the way that it goes is we recognized yesterday was Father's Day,
Father's
and it's
Day. Yeah.
celebrated across the world. It seems like for Mother's Day they came out of sync in the UK, but for Father's Day across
Mm,
the world, UK, Canada, yada yada.
okay.
So celebrations are similar. Well, not as much hype in
Mm,
Jamaica in terms of the fathers as they do for the mothers, in
mm,
terms
mm.
of gift
Right, well, that
baskets,
that is it.
etc.
That is in the world in general.
Yeah, yeah. So they big up the mothers and don't big up the fathers.
Mm,
Um, but then my cousin had a leaflet where they were gonna big up the fathers in an event.
mm,
So it was the way the leaflet was written, produced, gave the impression that it was going to be a formal affair, sit down.
mm,
They was going to big up the fathers, and yeah, it was going to be early.
mm,
Misleading. There was a lot of small print on there that I couldn't see with my 2020 vision.
mm.
So there was food, but food was it by the way of soup. So we got there early, as in daylight,
Yeah.
5 o'clock. No, we were going to get there for 5 o'clock, but we got there for 6. So it was only an hour later than what the small print said when it
Yeah.
started.
Mm,
And you know, when you get to a place and you think to yourself, I've been here before. However, if it was 6 hours later, I would have been in the right time, right space.
oh no.
It was one of those.
Oh man.
So it was, rather than a Father's Day celebration, it was, they were obviously thinking it wasn't fathers and sons or
Mm,
fathers and young people. It was party,
yeah.
traditional party. UK, you get ready at 12 o'clock to get there for 1 o'clock, because
Yeah.
that's when the party is just starting. So me and a sister, we walked in and we walked out.
Mm,
I've done that in the past in the UK, to be fair. I've gone to Shanolas, I've gone to Night Moves, I've
yeah.
walked in and I've walked out because the vibe just wasn't there.
Mm, mm,
So walked out, went to another cousin, and they've got a TV that you can hook up to YouTube. And yeah, we sat down and we watched some old time comedy and just
mm,
laughed and joked. And the man them that was with us, as in
mm,
her husband and a friend, stayed there and partied and whatever. So they
Mm.
came back intermittently just to check up on us, find out that we're okay. So they said that they were giving out prize is the wrong word, but they were giving out stuff to the fathers.
Oh yeah, awards.
No, I wouldn't use the word awards because I would ask you to guess what it is, and it begins with a M, and it ends in a E. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So allegedly, and I don't know how true this was, but the young men came back and said they were giving out machete.
Yeah.
So, to the fathers.
Okay.
So there was a lot of farmers in the room, not. So yeah, they said they had a good time. Music wasn't 70s, 80s, and 90s because when we got there, the music was pretty current. I didn't understand a word the DJ was saying. So that was another reason why me and the sister, we just turned around and just
Jamaican jazz.
Yeah. But it was an interesting concept. But the police had been there from midnight and they only had a license up until 2:00. So it got shut down. And the men then that were in there, the fathers that were in there had to go home. Yeah, it was interesting.
You know, one of the things, you know, like yeah, it was Fathering Day yesterday, right? And like as I was moving around yesterday, I see that there's a lot of, it was just an observation, but there's a lot of single people. It was a lot of single. It was, you never saw like the family unit. I never came across the family unit. No. And like, and I think to myself, okay, you know, I know, like, you know, everybody, or the majority of us are under the stress of the monies and things like this, so the expenditure and everything like this. But yet, that's where that the old discussion of why is it that the mothers are seen or looked after more than the fathers in that way there, you know? And you think, well, boys, it's like the fathers are just like a side thing, you know?
It's almost like a side thought, a secondary or third. It's not even secondary. Because if you're secondary, you'd be up front, but you're in the
right? Because I know that some places, and I go by my experience in Belgium, for instance, what they would do, they would, obviously it's a national holiday, but what they would do, they would get a load of coaches, right? And then all the men or the buses, and they would get them, and all the men, they could just go on and off the bus, and it was free for them for the day, right? And they just go around to different places, and everywhere they went, they could have like free drink and food and everything, you know. And it wasn't just the one little area, because I thought it was just the like one village that did that, but it was like everywhere, the whole of the country. They did this, you know. So basically, you know, that everybody's gonna have a sore head this morning. They will participate in that, yeah, because it's either the lean up, or the wife gonna go and say, where you are, you did this and that, you went to see your baby mother, you know. But it just goes to show, right? Unfortunately, you know, we should be in appreciation of those life givers as well. You know, well, you know, that's me. You know, because I know that there's probably some say, oh no, boy, is their thing that, you know. But let's you know, we speak, and we raise in the reverence of our sisters and our women of our community, but yet the same we should be showing towards our men as well, because one without the other doesn't make the new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those thoughts of like saying, wow, look at all of this, how separated and broken is this society
Mm,
that we still, even on the day of supposedly showing our appreciation, we still we still trod down on the men
mm,
in that
mm,
way there. So when will they be able to actually stand up and be acknowledged or appreciated,
mm,
or where would they be acknowledged and appreciated?
mm,
But then again, it's not everybody and everybody's like that, right? And it's not every household displays that as well,
mm, mm,
So yeah. So for all those who are in appreciation of them father, you know,
mm.
well done, and so it go, so it go.
Well, in what they were advertising on the radio in terms of in Kingston
Mm,
was what I anticipated in terms of an event for fathers to come down with their sons, and it was going to be a day thing
mm,
and activities, etc., etc. Um, food, drink, but this is because it's in the day. It's not going to be the alcoholic drink. It's going to be the
mm,
let's drink to have a laugh and joke, as in soft, rather than the alcohol. Maybe or not, the men would have brought alcohol. And one of the adverts said, then after 7 o'clock, which is darkness again,
mm,
um, as men, you guys can take all your children home and then come back and then play two dominoes and make some
mm,
noise. So they structured it that it was going to be a family affair in the morning or
mm,
during the daytime hours. And
mm,
then in the evening, you guys want to get together, then yeah, you can do your thing.
mm,
And
mm,
I
mm,
like the way that was
yeah,
advertised and structured.
mm,
Whereas what I went to, they say it's an annual affair. Every year they do it. Yeah, every year, to be fair, they celebrate Father's Day.
mm,
But they do it as a party,
mm, mm, mm,
which starts, like I said, like parties back in the day
mm,
after darkness, but closer to midnight.
mm,
And then it finishes once the police come and kick you out because they say you've only got 2 hours up until 2 o'clock.
mm.
So yeah, we do need to celebrate our fathers
Yeah, yeah.
more.
Life in general, man.
Mm,
Life in general.
mm,
Because even say like our children who are going through well, they're going through their trauma as well, like with their examinations and things like this. Yeah, yeah, make a big thing out of it, man. You know what I
mm,
mean? Right? When they come and they get their education, their grades, innit?
mm,
The
mm,
grades, or even when they go for graduation and things like that.
mm,
Yeah, man. Come on now.
mm,
Come on. You know what I
mm,
mean? Because it's an achievement.
mm,
It's an
mm,
achievement.
mm,
Especially when you leave school and you say, right, what's my next move?
mm, mm,
What your next move? No.
mm.
You understand? So,
Yes.
it's and that's just it, is that there's so much in life to celebrate,
Mm,
but unfortunately we're pushing ourselves into that position of not celebrating,
mm,
yeah, for
mm,
what for whatever reason,
mm.
no? Yeah, man. So yeah. Apart from that, how was your day?
So apart from that, my day was interesting.
Mm,
Because I went down this morning and um, bought some fish, or went down and yeah, bought some fish, but just listened to the conversation
mm,
that, and it's just interesting, just observing and listening and just picking up on the vibe of the area,
mm,
the the jokes that they were just joking amongst each other.
Mm.
And they were also talking about Father's Day and what they were going to be doing later.
Mm.
But it was just interesting, and yeah, just buying fresh fish
Mm.
and asking to say I want to put in an order, and they were just talking about the sea being rough.
Mm.
Because yeah, we're in hurricane season over here, so
Season now and everything now.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they're just mindful of the opportunities of going out there and going out to sea. So it was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day from there going to the marina.
You have to realize, say, you have to realize, say that that although you have the luxury of being able to go and purchase fresh fish and everything like this, right?
Mm,
It doesn't mean say that it's a safe journey, right? Because the calmness of where you are is completely different to the ocean when
mm,
you're at Odessa,
mm,
it's
mm,
completely, and
mm,
then you're in a small vessel.
mm.
I'm telling you,
Well,
it's a different journey.
I was
Different.
reading the other day. They were interviewing the fishermen and the communities, because there's a lot more fishermen that are going out and coming back
Mm.
with the bends.
Where you
So
going? Oh,
they're diving too deep and staying
yeah.
too long. So even though they may have a gas tank, they're coming up too fast.
Mm. Mm.
Um, and some of them get away with it, but there are a lot more of them that aren't getting away with it
Mm.
and are
Mm.
coming up with the sickness, which can be easily overcome, as in the sickness,
Mm.
or as they call it, the bends.
Mm.
It says what it says on the tin, does what it says on the tin, or coming up and being paralyzed.
Yeah.
And there's more of them coming up that's being paralyzed, because they don't, there's no conversation in terms of the wrong way or the right way to do the diving, because they're doing it for a living. And in doing it for a living, some of the man them will take chances
Mm.
and go to they've got a gas tank. Those who do have the oxygen
Mm.
will use it to the max,
Mm. Mm.
and two people will be sharing the oxygen. So if the first man's gone down and he's used a lot of it, and you're going down afterwards and you're looking for
Mm.
the fish that are closer to the sea bottom,
Mm.
then you're not gonna, you take chances that ordinarily you think, yeah, I can get away with this, I can get away with this, and there's less and less of them getting away with it. So
Mm.
there's a campaign, a bigger campaign, whereby they can go and go. So they will go around, so that coast guards will go around to the various communities,
Mm.
teach one, for that one to teach others
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Because
the dangers.
I would imagine that a lot. Not everybody has done their training on using those things.
Well,
Is
and that's the thing. It's a man teaching a man,
Yeah.
but not necessarily recognizing or understanding or respecting.
Mm.
Because the report that I read, and it was like they'd interviewed two or three people, and all the energy that I got off was that when they saw their fellow divers or fellow fishermen coming up and they'd had the bends, they would be laughing because they see that as a joke,
Mm.
rather than recognizing, hang on a minute,
It's
if
a
he's
life
come up,
threatening thing.
yeah,
Life threatening.
yeah, yeah, it's not something to laugh about. The fact that you get over it is to give thanks,
Mm.
but to be fair, it's not something to laugh about.
Mm. Mm.
But they see it as a joke, and that was what the Coast Guard was wanting to let them know, that the fact that they experience it in real time, either watching it or going through it themselves, is no joke thing.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like a compression of the lungs and organs as well.
Mm,
And
mm,
then like coming up, what happens is that your pressure doesn't adjust correctly.
mm,
What it can do, it can actually expand your lungs and organs to the extent of that they can burst
mm,
within you. So
mm,
what they would do then, they would put, like, if they have that chamber, yeah, they would
mm,
compress it again,
mm,
bring the pressure down again, so that
mm,
your body would normalize, and then it would bring you back in stages,
mm.
like you was ascending in the correct manner that you're supposed to.
So the person that they interviewed, he said when he came up and he was feeling like that,
Mm,
his automatic response was to go back into the water
yeah.
and come up again and see whether or not he could
Mm,
correct the sensation.
yeah.
But for him, it was already too late. So,
Mm,
there's that thought: can I correct it by going back into the water?
mm,
And in the West or in dive schools, they would, like you say, have a chamber and all the medical
yeah. Yeah.
services to hand.
Yeah.
So these guys, I thank them for going and catching the fish.
Mm,
And a lot of them are taking their lives in their hand on
mm,
a day-to-day basis every time they go out there.
mm,
And if they're catching, whether it be crabs or whether it be lobster or any of the shellfish, and
yeah.
they've got to go deeper dives, I thank them for it.
Mm,
But there is, some of them do pay the price.
mm, mm, mm. No, and I can imagine, and the way how the economics of the life out there at the moment, people are taking that extra risk
Mm,
in
mm,
it to literally survive.
mm, mm,
You know,
mm,
it's so yeah. I understand. I do
mm.
understand. Not everybody's a superhuman or
No.
this, right? And I blame that Disney movie as well. The was it Mermaid? That's why everybody I eat fish now. Actually, I never actually see her eating the fish though. That's the thing.
I've not watched the movie.
I've not watched it, but I haven't
Mm,
seen, because there's gonna be somebody out there about why, you know.
mm, mm.
What you doing over there? What? Uh, it's usually the shark business while go on in them things, innit? Hmm? Yeah, yeah. You know what? Anyhow, you know what? Big up all them man. They do them type of jobs there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's not for the faint-hearted.
No,
Put it that way.
no,
For the
no,
faint-hearted, right?
no.
And it's not as beautiful as some of these movies make it out to be.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
mm,
Not as
mm.
beautiful. So especially if there's some other predator out there who's looking to hunt you, and you hunt them too.
Mm,
So
mm.
it's not easy.
No,
Not easy, man. Yeah.
no.
Anyhow. But at least they still have fish that them can go and get it,
Yes.
because if it wasn't, then you'd be what would you eat after that if there was no fish?
Well, there's lots of food. There's lots of
Yeah.
there's the greenery. So
Mm,
we're in the mango season, obviously. You
mm,
got breadfruit. You got someone brought a jackfruit. So you've got other foods you can eat
mm,
off of the land, which
mm.
could be the reason why they handed out the machete to the
Yeah.
men. But like I said, there are very few farmers in there because they would all have been sleeping. To be fair, they will
Mm.
all have been sleeping because if you're a farmer, your body clock works with the sunrise. So you
Sunrise. Yeah.
get up, you do your work.
Mm,
You may have a break during the day, the middle of the day, and then you're going to start again when it gets cooler. So you're not
mm,
going to be out partying.
mm, mm,
Priorities will be wrong if you are
mhm, mhm.
farmer.
Yeah. You're not. Well, then again, you know what? It's as it is. It is as it is.
Mm,
Country
mm,
living. Country living.
mm, mm.
Listen, we're coming to the top of the hour already, you know. We're coming to the
Yeah.
top of the hour. I know that it's only a brief visit this morning, right? Your message for today, because you haven't been around, so let me give a message for us for today, my sister. Some words of wisdom.
The journeys that we take in life, A, to give thanks, and B, to recognize that if we feel the woe is me, is there a lesson that I've not picked up on that I need to be mindful of in order to move forward? So we may be doing the pity party. We may be thinking we've had a rough deal, but just check, slow down in order to speed up and think whether or not there is a lesson that needs to be learned.
You know what? That's a beautiful note to end our program on this morning. Right. So, Galaxy family, have a fantastic day. And I know it's going to be the Griot show later on with our brother Kwame, right? Who'll be coming up next, right? Sister Sandra, you have a beautiful resting day, right? Because I know, say, and let me emphasize again, this sister is in the middle of the night, you know, over there, so she's joining us, right? So, you know, please show full appreciation for her presence here on the Galaxy of ForWe.net, on the Galaxy Morning Rise. Right? So, everybody, have a beautiful day and make it very, very productive. Very productive. Right? So, blessings. Let me give you some of this one, yes, sir. Maccabee.
Yo, I'm Maccabee this and I want way me stay cultural all the way. You not gonna hear me talk slackness and badness and madness. Me say me never leave me culture, man, it's part of my persona. Me say me never leave me culture. Me carry that on me shoulder. Cause me say over 30 years me in a this. And me never switch, forget rich, me never talk no slackness. And you not gonna hear me talk no badness. Cause badness and badness only lead to sadness. And me no bend, and me no bow, and me no itch. Me say the cultural ambassador is at your service. The kid in the culture is my greatest wish. Me have a mission that me must accomplish. And me never leave me culture. Man, it's part of my persona. Me say me never leave me culture. Me carry that on me shoulder. Me say me never leave me culture. Man, it's part of my persona. Me say me never leave me culture. Me carry that on me shoulder. I coulda roots rock, reggae dance, all I coulda lovers. Missing up on the rhythm with the culture, get it with the culture for the brothers, for the aunts, for the nieces, for the nephews, and for the sisters and the mothers, for the uncles and for the fathers, sons and daughters, and for the others. When I talk for the hypocrites, for the wicked man and the parasite. When I talk with the wicked, them want to hear me talk when me like. Making them with the culture lyrics, man, making them all night. Me never let me choose and right, cause me never leave me culture. Man, it's part of my persona. Me say me never leave me culture. Me carry that on me shoulder. Me say me never leave me culture. Man, it's part of my persona. Me say me never leave me culture. Me carry that on me shoulder. Let me say I am not a cultural fraud. Me say culture on record, and me say culture in a me yard. Me take me culture with me when me gone abroad. Man a cultural ambassador, me a move like that. When no say me we get to my reward. Me keep on coming with the culture and I'm coming in hard. I might not get a Mobo award, but the people hold me in high regard. Cause me never leave me culture. Man, it's part of my persona.
Me say me never leave me culture. Me carry that on me shoulder. And me say anything me talk from me heart. Me try to send the people on